Hi folks, welcome to my first Twitch.tv broadcast. As you can tell, I've just been finished a training mission, which is training because I got blown up in an asteroid field by a robot ship. Of course, this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't training, because of course I don't get blown up in the real thing. So the idea behind FTL is you are carrying an important message to the Federation because the rebels are mounting a big attack and are going to wipe out the galaxy and impose their rule on you. You get to choose various different types of ship, which you can unlock more as you progress through the game. I'm going to stick with the Kestrel, the first one, because I'm getting pretty lucky with it lately. An important part of the gameplay of this is managing the different power to all your different systems. You start out with a sort of a minimal settings just to get yourself through the game to start with. As you get scrap from blowing up bad guys and from other events, you can upgrade different systems, buy new guns, replace crewmen that get dragged away by mantis, stripped into shreds, or get blown up on alien spaceships. So it's done on a semi-turn-based, semi-real-time, so you get the beacon map and you have to make your way through various jump points to get to the exit point. Depending on how good your sensors are, you get to pick up what's in these little areas, so most of them are pretty anonymous, but we can see here there's a distress signal coming from this beacon. So depending on how charitable you're feeling, you can go there and help these guys out, which I usually do. When I unlock one of the bad guy ships, I'll probably start playing it like a bad guy, but for the moment we're meant to be the good guys. So, giant alien spiders sound like something the good guys would go after, so let's send the crew down there. My crew slowly creeps through a cluster of the creatures from behind. Without warning, the giant creatures turn and charge. However, your team stays in control, and before long you've beaten them back. So they say thank you for saving them, so you get some fuel, which is very important. Run out of that and you're adrift. Some drone parts, which you might cover later, and scrap, which is your currency. So you don't have to just keep blowing up bad guys to get parts. Sometimes you get them through choosing the right thing in events. Sometimes you get eaten by the giant alien space spiders. So any luck soon we'll have a ship. Oh, you may have noticed I was in an asteroid field earlier when I got blown up. So this doesn't bode very well. However, this time, as you can see, I've got a nice big green bar here for the hull of my ship, so I'm in pretty good shape. I tend to find asteroid belts are pretty good because all you've got to do is take out the bad guy's shields, sit back and let nature take her course. So, my ship comes with a burst laser as standard and Artemis missiles. You've only got a finite number of missiles, so I tend to only use those when I absolutely have to. This guy doesn't look like he's going to be too difficult until he shoots my weapons system out. So you can see here we've got a little orange icon on the weapons. And the power bars are reduced here, so I can't actually use all three of the power. I can only use one of them, which is enough to power my lasers. However, they've wimped out already, so I can either accept their fairly generous offer to let them survive, or I can continue pursuing them until their small parts floating around in an asteroid field, which to me sounds like much more fun. So I've sent one of my crewmen off of the engines and into the weapons bay here to try and fix this to get my weapons back online. I could be using the missiles at the moment because they use less power, but he's not in very good shape, so I'm just going to wait. He'll keep sitting there repairing it till it's all fixed, and I have a fire down here by my engine room. So what I could do is pull someone off of one of their other duties, send them to put out the fire. But the guy working on shields is quite important, he keeps them running. The guy on the pilot seat is quite important, he helps evade shots. So what I'm going to do is I've just opened the doors here and to vent out the oxygen, and eventually the fire will go out of its own accord, or possibly keep spreading throughout the ship and destroy us all. So what with my lasers and the rocks of the asteroid field, that poor little ship got blown to bits. I got some nice fuel, extra missiles and some scrap. And I can choose if I want to hang around in this asteroid field, get my repairs done, put out the blazing fires, or I can jump to the next area and finish fixing up then. So it's a bit of a gamble really. Asteroid fields don't tend to be too bad as long as you've got one shield, because that's usually enough. So I'm going to hang around. Now I'm going to send this guy back in there, but there's no oxygen in the room, so I'll open all the doors around here to help feed the oxygen back in there, and you'll see the rooms slowly go back to white as they fill up with O2. So I can now close all the doors again, and he now won't suffocate to death, keeping the ship going. Have another distress signal here, so let's go in there. Every time you do a jump it uses up one of your fuel, and it does look like I've got quite a lot of fuel actually here. But it's not unusual to suddenly realise you've only got 2 left and there's no fuel stations around. So it looks like there's a riot going on down on the planet and they're asking me to help. Now, I've only got 3 crew at the moment, which isn't really a great deal, and I don't really think I can afford to lose one, so I'm going to have to skip, because the last thing I want is to lose one of my guys in the crowds down there. And Jack here, who got shot at earlier, is a little bit low on health, so we're going to pop him into the med bay. And nothing will happen because we haven't got any power to the med bay yet, so I can click on that, power it up, he'll get his health back. I can send him back to the engines. I don't have any spare power at the moment, so nothing to power my missiles, so I can keep the med bay powered down and choose to keep the missiles charged. Easy to switch between the two, so I don't tend to keep the med bay powered up unless I've got spare stuff kicking around. Now I've got 30 scrap here, which is enough to spend on upgrading one of the systems on my ship, so we can open the menu here, and you can see we can upgrade the different systems, shields, engines, oxygen, weapons, medbay. You've got subsystems here, which is upgrade the piloting, the sensors or the doors, and of all of those the most boring one is probably the doors. Who needs extra doors? However, it's usually the first thing I go for, because fires don't spread very easily through upgraded doors, and if someone teleports and boards you and tries to smash their way through their ship, they have a lot of trouble getting through the blast doors, so we'll go for the doors. So they've gone from their wimpy orange to nice big strong grey blocks of metal with appropriate whooshing noises as they open and close. Not got much money left, so I'm not going to go to the store, and you try not to go backwards because, as you can see here, the rebels are on their way. So this area, red area here, will now start advancing every time I jump, and if it catches up with me I'll have to have a pretty strong battle on my hands. So you try to keep ahead of that as much as you can, but you've also got to get as many points done in each sector so you can collect up resources, weapons, crew, and fight more giant alien spiders. So if we head over towards the exit now, see what else we've got to play. So some of the events you get to come across random traders where you can buy or sell parts from. 10 missiles isn't too bad, so I'm going to ignore him for now. I'd rather keep my scrap for something else later. And head to the next jump beacon. So I think that they're still quite far away, so I might take a detour down to the south and then back round. But with every jump you do, you've only got a certain range, and I'm fairly sure I can't get between this lower and this upper beacon here. So I'm going to fly down south and head east and back up north again around here, I reckon. If you're low on fuel, you might prefer to take a more direct route, but I'm doing okay for the moment, so... these rock people think that they can bribe me with stuff when I know I can blow them apart and get their stuff anyway. The pirate ship stops its pursuit and locks weapons onto your ship. So, you can, when you use the weapons, you can use the number keys on the keyboard to target and cancel, or you can use the mouse. So obviously I'm using the 1 and 2 keys on the keyboard here. I'm going to go for their weapons first. Once the weapons are down, I can then take my time and pick them to pieces. So whoever gets the first shot off will usually have the most fun. Here come some lasers. So he managed to punch through my shields, and then his beam weapon managed to cut through onto my shield room, so I'm out of shields at the moment, till my little dude repairs it. So I'm going to pop a missile over there to help kick the crap out of him. Looks like he's definitely going after the shields now. He's managed to completely destroy the shield system and set it on fire. So I'm going to send a pop missiles over there to try and persuade him not to kill me anymore. This poor guy who's been in here has not only taken some laser hits, some beam hits, but he's also been set on fire, so he's not very happy. He'll probably survive for now, and we need the shields back up pretty sharpish. However, they also managed to set fire to my O2 room, so at the moment there's no extra oxygen coming into the ship, and it'll start gradually depleting until everyone suffers a horrible retching death. It might not seem like a good idea to open the doors and let out all the oxygen into space, but it helps put out the fire quickly. I can't repair it till the fire's gone, so I will do that. I almost never take my pilot off because that reduces your evade, your chance to miss shots to nothing, but the fact I've got no shields and no oxygen is pretty dire, so let's send these guys over. His weapons are down now, so I can sort of take a breather. Right, I'm going to close the doors now, and hopefully they won't die. No, so they're getting very low on health. I'm going to send one of them over to the med bay. Power down my... Actually, I've got some spare power because the shields aren't working, so I'll just borrow that to fire the med bay so this guy doesn't die on me. You'll notice these rooms have got orange borders, which means there's not enough oxygen to keep the crew members going, so they'll take damage all the time they're in an orange room. Which is all the time now, so if I open the doors it'll help bring some O2 in there. But that's only a stopgap until it's repaired. Okay, so disaster looks like it's mostly over now. They haven't been able to do much because they still haven't fixed their weapons. So I'll keep picking apart their ship, which is about to go boom. Get my guys fixed up. 15 scrap out of that one, which I think is not actually as good as what he offered, but never mind. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Right, so get everyone healed up after being shot at by lasers, cut up by missile beams, suffocated to death and set on fire. And yet still they don't complain. So, depending on which areas your crewmen are, they... see, I've forgotten to power up my O2. Whoops. Which is why everything's gone red. So depending on where your crewmen are, they help increase attributes of the ship. So a pilot means you're allowed to evade shots. Go on the engines helps increase that. And also helps speed up your jump time between areas. The guy on the shields helps recharge your shields more quickly when they get hit, and obviously weapons makes you fire faster. Your crewmen also tend to get experience points when they perform their duties, and once they've got enough experience they go up a level, which makes them better at what they're doing, so it's always good to try and keep the same guys doing the same task throughout each playthrough. So you can see Philip here has got 4 of 15 experience points until he gets to the next level. He hasn't done much else other than a bit of repair, so he's that's his speciality. You can see the other 2 are here. Okay, so this guy looks as if he's going to... These bluer weapons here are temporary disablers, they're ion beams, and they hit you and disable a system temporarily. So they're going to go through my shields, missile's going to hit the engine room, and I'm going to cry. Thankfully he's not very well protected, so his weapons are blown to bits now. My guy on the shields gave up playing his computer because someone turned his shields off. Pretty much send guys for a bit of healing now. Usually if it's anything, taking a little bit of damage in a battle, you don't bother sending them around, but thanks to the auto assault ship is actually quite weak, so I can toy with him like a cat does a mouse. Alright, I've got a little bit of extra cash here, so upgrade one of the systems. I find evade tends to work very well, and it's very cheap to upgrade early on in the game, so I'm going to pop an extra level on my engines, and then I'll need some extra power for that extra level, so I'll go for an extra power bar, using up all my spare cash. So you can see we've got an extra notch on the engines here, so I'll click on that, and my evade's now up to 25%, so a quarter of the stuff shot at me through space. Might miss if I'm lucky. Nothing on that jump point. Another distress signal. God, this place is full of distressed people. Ship struggling with the manoeuvre through the field. Help, our shields are down. I don't know how much longer they can last. Try to shield their ship with yours and escort them out of the field. Well, I've taken a bit of damage here, but I reckon I can risk a bit more just in case, so we'll go for this option. And despite my best efforts, the civilian ship got blown to bits, and I got hit as well. Easy come, easy go. Right, time to hit the next exit. I think I'm a little bit early, but I'd rather that than late. Ship being attacked by pirates. Excellent. Send me in. Now these ships are interestingly designed. He's got no doors between his O2 bay and the outside world, so you can blow his oxygen up and wait for him to suffocate to death and scuttle the entire ship, which is quite handy. I managed to get through my shields pretty quick there. Took out my pilot and my engines, so I'm literally a sitting duck at the moment. He's taking advantage of that. At least he was till I took out his weapons. I'm taking a bit of damage to the crew here, but it's nothing too bad. Usually what I do is hang around now until their crew all suffocate to death. However, that's probably a bit boring to watch, so I'll just get my crew healed up. And if he's still alive, then I shall blow him out of the sky, like the nice guy I am. Also, he's managed to fix his weapons, so I don't particularly want to get shot at too much. There goes... No, he's got one more hit point left on his hull, so one more shot and he's down. It's always best if you can to try and take an enemy ship without actually destroying it, because you get more scrap out of that, and sometimes you can steal some of their weapons or some of their systems, which is very handy. In fact, the people I've rescued have just given me some scrap and an anti-bio beam, which is described as a terrifying beam which does no physical damage but tears through crew members. So, I need 2 power to power the bio beam. My weapon system can only actually provide me with 3, so I won't be able to do my lasers and the bio beam at once. What I can probably do is just about afford to upgrade the weapons. That's 35. So if I can borrow some power from my engines, that gives me 2 spare. I can power the bio beam at the moment as well. So I take down their shields and then shred their crew to pieces. So I'm on to Sector 3 now, and you progress through various different sectors. You get to choose whether it's easy, difficult, or a level full of nebulas where you can't see where you're going. I tend to go for the bad guys now. Once you get a bit better at it, you tend to prefer a bit of a challenge rather than taking the easy route. So let's see if we can find some people to use our bio beam on. Do I want to sell 2 fuel for drone parts? So drone parts are if you have a system called a drone system, which allows you to send out automated little systems either onto the enemy ship, onto your ship to do various good or bad things. This ship doesn't come with the drone to start with, so I might be able to demonstrate that with one of my other ships later. Alright, so the thing about the bio beam is I don't really know where to fire it until I've got my sensors upgraded, so I'm going to assume they've got someone on their cockpit and someone in their weapons. So I'll go for that. Beam weapons don't tend to work very well through shields, so you tend to hold fire until their shields are down, basically. And I can hear fire because sensors are ablaze. I'm not sure he's going to be able to take them on his own. 2 fires is a bit much for one guy. So I'll sacrifice manoeuvrability and send in him to help. That was pretty generous. 2 missiles and plenty more scrap. Right, so send Adnan in for some heals, so I can finish doing the repairs. My shields guy. Your engines. Right. Power back onto the engines. I've got an extra 25 here, so you can't spend any money while you're in an asteroid field. Well, gee. Who wants to shop when they're being pelted by rocks anyway? A ship without life forms in a nearby dense asteroid field is giving off a distress call. Yeah, let's go for it. What's the worst that could happen? You find what appears to be a piece of a derelict ship coated with ice or crystal. Before you have a chance to dock, asteroids get through your shield and damage you. You'll have to pull out and get blown to pieces. So usually you get shot to pieces by the bad guys, but I managed to get hit by an event and destroyed. So we can try out one of the other ships that I've got here, the Taurus. So this is mainly headed up by the NGs. They're a different species who are a bit weaker at fighting, but they're really good at repairs. And they also are able to heal themselves wherever they are, as long as the medbay is switched on. So these guys are pretty useful. So the NGs do have their drone system here, and they come with a free anti-ship drone to start with, so we'll be able to see that in action. Let's get these guys powered on. So I'll have my human on the helm. I don't tend to pull people away from the helm for repairs, so because these guys are better at repairs, I'll leave them to do the fixing and just leave him in his little room flying his ship. So let's head out and do some drone damage. I've also got an iron blast weapon, so you tend to be able to take out their shields, and then your little drone, which you can see flying around here, will take them out. These fully automated, so as long as your drone system's powered, he'll just stay there and zap them to bits, basically. So I've set my ion beam, which is a pretty quick weapon, to constantly shoot their shields, which will keep them offline, while this drone does the work of taking them out. So they quite often try and run away. So they're trying to power up their engines. This means you've got a timer, which you can't see, before which they run away, and they tend to mean the rebels that are chasing you get increased speed for the next turn. However, he wasn't going anywhere in that state, so you tend to have to do is obviously concentrate on their engines, or sort of killing blow once they try to run away. Again, I'm going to go for the doors first, because we don't like fire. Intelligent life forms on a nearby planet. You land a shuttle on an enormous field whose only occupants are small six-legged horse-like animals. Try to communicate peacefully. You try to communicate in every possible way, but they just stand there silently judging you with their large expressionless eyes. Well, fine, be like that. Nothing in this system. An automated ship. Haha. Who's got cloaking? Well, cloaks, your enemies, which will be in my case me, weapons can't actually charge up. So that's a very handy subsystem to have. Really expensive though, so I'm going to try and... This little drone only fires once at a time, so he's not very good at actually attacking shields, so I'll try and keep the drone's shields down if I could actually hit him. So, okay. I'm not quite sure. He's got a bomb weapon here which teleports a bomb onto the ship. There we go. Took out the O2 again. With the blue flashing, that means it's a temporary disable, so you can't do anything about that until the timer, which is displayed on the system, goes down to 0. However, it doesn't seem to have done him much good, as he is now toast. So taking out that scout helped update my map, so that should add a load of labels onto here, so you can see where there are ships. Where there are ships with some sort of effect, nearby sun, that'll be a good one. So yeah, these ones are the slightly blue outlines are in nebulas, so in nebulas your sensors don't work. However, every time you jump through a nebula it slows down the fleet a bit, which is quite helpful. Do I want to trade 2 drone parts for 5 fuel? That sounds like a good deal. Right, so some of the encounters you have are in things like asteroid fields, and some are in suns. And you will see what happens when you fly too close to a sun very soon. There's nothing apparent yet, but you'll see. So I'm keeping his shields disabled with the ion beam, letting the little drone do its business. So they have wimped out pretty quickly. 2 missiles, a drone is scrap, but we don't want to do that, because I'm feeling mean and we want to have a look at this effect of this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my drone here to give you an idea of what happens when the solar flare comes through, which is what happens when you're near the sun. Every now and then you get these flares come through and attempt to burn your ship apart, so thankfully that didn't hit anywhere crucial for me, so I can just pop the door open to the airlock here, suck all the air out and it'll go out of its own accord. So let's jump out before another solar flare comes in. Another scout, but that one looks like it's more heavily armed, and he's got some drones of his own as well. So if I can get his shields down for long enough, it should allow me to start. Ooh, so they've managed to hit with a really strong weapon and cause a breach in the hull here, which sucks out all the oxygen, disables the system, and generally causes havoc. However, because my NGs, you're seeing how quickly they repaired that, these guys really are very quick at repairing. So it didn't last very long, but breaches can cause serious havoc. Your crewmen tend to suffocate to death trying to get them fixed. The system's out, and then once you've fixed it, you've actually got to get the system back online. So breach weapons really are pretty powerful. I don't know why I'm sending him back. In this ship, you don't actually need to be in the med bay to do any healing. So we can just leave him there. As long as the med bay's powered, he will be healing up. So we can leave him there and go on to the next area. Do you want to explore an asteroid field? I find these tend to hit me quite often, so I'll avoid taking some damage. I won't go just the exit just yet. See what else we can dig out. Aid the civilian ship. Oh, these guys have got special shields, which are sort of one-off that you have to drain down to 0 before you can actually start damaging them at all. Thankfully they don't regenerate at all. And they're actually quite weak against these iron weapons, so I'm taking them out quite quickly. Oh, and he's managed to teleport a bomb on here, which has taken out my oxygen again. Which they seem to like doing. So what I think I might do is... And there goes another bomb, which managed to set fire as well, so sometimes the effects of weapons can start fires or breach, sometimes they just damage you. So helping out that civilian ship gave me 2 lots of booty, which is pretty good. Can get these guys fixing the place up. So what I can do is where that bomb went off, and it only did 1 damage to the O2 system, but that's only got 1 bar, so it actually disables it on 1 hit. So I can upgrade the O2, but I don't necessarily have to power it, so now it'll still work as normal, but if it takes a hit, it'll still work. But I can also, if I need to, ramp up the oxygen production in case there's a reason for me to need it very quickly, which is quite useful sometimes actually, and it's quite a cheap upgrade, so... Go for another civilian ship. His weapons. No one's healing now, so I can take the power out of the med bay, pop it back into the engines. Give me some extra evasion. And that looks bad. Ouch. That's my shields down until we can get them fixed. Here comes another missile. Just for fun. Oh, that missed. Excellent. And they made pretty quick work of that guy. And the civilian ship said he patched up some of the hull damage, so that was good of him. I'm going to add an extra power bar onto the ship. Spend some of that so we can have the med bay on all the time at the moment. Right, time to go to the exit now. Let's see, as you progress through the different sectors, the enemies become more and more dangerous. Better shields, better weapons, more ruthless. So go for the civilian section, take it easy, or the rebel, and have a bit more challenge and some more loot, so I'll go for that one. So let's head off towards the middle, because you'll find that occasionally it will tell you what's around nearby, so I tend to keep myself with the most options, so you can always change your mind if something takes your eye. An abandoned space station with a system repair drone. So these guys are great. I will show you them in action. I think now I've got a couple of drones that I might want on the go at once. I'm going to spend some money giving me some additional extra power. save me having to juggle it while things are going on. So let's head down, stay roughly in the middle, straight into an asteroid field. So this guy's also armed with drones as well, so let's go and try and take out his shields, put on my anti-ship drone. So I've taken a hit to the engines. I can pull the weapons, I can pull someone off a system and send them to repair it, or I can turn on my system repair drone. No I can't, because my drone system can only do 3 maximum power at once, and I'll need 4 for both of them basically. So I will need to do that when I finish this guy, because you can only shop afterwards, so we'll upgrade the drone system then, if he hasn't blown me to pieces. I need to get these weapons back online to take down his shields, otherwise I'm getting nowhere. There we go. Right. You are doing a hell of a lot of damage here. Right, my drones... he's disabled my drone system, so I'm not really doing much damage to him at the moment. That's come back online now, so I can turn the drone back on and it will start shooting again. Now, I'm venting O2 because I know I heard a breach somewhere, but it's not too important yet. So we'll concentrate on getting out of here alive and then fixing things. It's all about priorities, especially when shit hits the fan. You really got to think to yourself, right, what needs to be fixed first, what can I live without, sort of thing. So get the sensors in the medbay repaired. Right, so you are my shields guy. What I can do is, now we're not using the drone system, I can turn on the system repair drone and up he appears, and they'll basically automatically walk around the ship to anything that needs fixing and do the job for you. Because they're not real people, they don't need oxygen, so he can quite a way fix that happily. So we'll leave him his spanner in hand, which frees up the rest of my crew. Hi Mook, welcome. And also with the drones that stay in your ship, you only use the one drone part every time you actually construct them, so I can turn him on and off without actually using any drone parts, whereas something like an anti-ship will get left behind at the end of the battle and will consume one of your drone parts every time. So I'm actually taking a fair bit of a beating here. Hull's down to red and it's already given me a warning, so I need to try and take this guy out. Drone system's taken a hit, so I need to get that repaired pronto. Another few missiles and I'm going to be FTL toast. Alright, he's finished repairing that, so I turn my anti-ship drone back on. Looks like we've disabled his weapons for now, so he's not at the moment any threat to me, but they've just come back on. So you've not only got to juggle priorities within your own ship and your own crew, but you've also got to decide, once you get onto the further levels, which part of the ship you want to disable, which is going to be the easiest for you, which is going to mean the less damage to you. It's fairly easy to take on the ships, you sort of just send your weapons after them and leave them to it, but later on you've got to juggle the different systems you want to take out to make your attack as effective as possible. Alright, so I've got some extra money spent, so I'll upgrade the drone system so we can have both our repair and anti-ship drones on at once. And head off to the next sector with someone in distress to sort out. Probably should have actually gone to the store to get fixed rather than spend my money on the drone system, but never mind. So these people want a hand getting to somewhere else on the map rather than someone actually wanting to shoot me, which is helpful considering my state. So they've added a quest marker onto the map, and if I can get to there, then they will give me thanks for it. And it's right next to me, so that's handy. Now the question is, have I got time to go to the store, head back to the quest, and then get back up to the exit? I think I might just have time. Sometimes you end up cutting it really close, deciding on your priorities on the beacon map. So here you can obviously spend your money on upgrading the ship. You can go to stores here to buy extra fuel, which I don't need so much now, or repair the ship, which I really do. Sometimes you can buy crew, sometimes you buy systems, sometimes you get extra weapons here depending on the shop. And you can also sell anything you've got that you don't want. So what I'm going to do is fix up as much as I can and then head on my way Teleporting is all sorts of fun. You need plenty of crew to keep it going, but there's nothing quite like sending your guys over there and watching them kick the crap out of the bad guys. That gives you a whole new level of juggling to do though, so you really do have to be on your toes, especially when your ship's on fire, half broken. And you've got to remember to bring your guys back home to give them repair. So there's another shop here. I've got an entirety of 0 money, so you get augmentations, which you can have up to 3 at once. And so this one will decrease the time it takes for me to speed up, and this one would get my drones back that are left floating in space. At 50 apiece, 0 in the bank, I'm going to head on to the next. So I reckon I've just got enough time to navigate back to the exit here before they catch up. An automated ship to get to the sensor station. Yeah, if there's a chance to provoke someone, I usually go for it. What's the worst that could happen? This guy looks pretty weak actually, so he's going to be pretty easy to take out. So his helm's down, so he can't manoeuvre now, so I won't be missing. And my drone is going to take down the last of his few hit points. I don't know what this guy's doing in Sector 3, he's a bit wimpy to be this far down. 13 scrap, and extra details on the map, that's always handy. Not that I've got much of a choice at the moment. There you go. So sometimes when you zoom in, when you go to a beacon, wow, you get the bad guys just teleport onto your ship out of nowhere. And you don't always get 4 of them, I've got to say. Now thanks to the NG's advanced medical bay, they get healed wherever they are on the ship. So usually what I do in this case would be get everyone out of there and pull the O2 to the room and suffocate all the bad guys. That way you don't get your crewmen beat up. However, because I can get my guys healed on the spot wherever they are, I'm going to stick with fighting. This guy's taking a bit of a beating, so I'm going to pull him out. So is this guy. And so is that guy. So I didn't do too bad, 4 against 3. So they'll shoot down my engines. And now the solar flare's going to come and set fire to the engine room. So we'll pull the air out of the engine room. No need to send people over there to put it out. My guys are mostly healed up now, so we'll send them in for another bout. Unfortunately, the NGs are very weak when it comes to fighting, so despite the healing that we've got, they are still getting their asses kicked, but it's better than nothing. So they've managed to bash down the doors, which they do eventually. I'll just pause it here. So it takes time for them to bash through the doors, which is quite good, especially the upgraded doors. They finished kicking the crap out of my engine, so they're going to move on to the shields now. Oh, and just for extra kicks, my O2's on fire. So I'm going to open this airlock here. This fire's out, so we'll close that up. That will gradually fill back up with oxygen. Looks like they punched my system repair drone to death. So I'll build another one of those, and he'll probably set the fire, put the fire out first, and then go fixing some things. So let's go in there and give them another bout. I've taken out the shields. Every time they damage a system, that will also take out the hull as well, so you don't want to let them run amok too much. Obviously they can't heal up, so eventually you will overcome them. Although that guy is... Now if we had any Rockmen or Mantis, they would do a rather good job of fighting. Rockmen are really slow, but have got very large fists. And the Mantis are really quick and are strong attackers, so my system repair drone seems to keep getting blown up. Slightly worried now because we've got lots of fire and my oxygen system is broken, so any oxygen that leaves the ship is gone for good. So I need to basically get this fight done quickly so I can start preparing the system. I'm just going to use O2 room as a priority, I think. They've almost finished fighting down there, so I'll get 2 guys up here. The system repair drone is busy putting out fire, quite helpfully. Fortunately, all the time this is going on, this solar flare is just keep flaring and keep setting me on fire. I can't go anywhere because I still need my engines fixed, so my O2 is at least working now. So I'm going to get the engines fixed and get out of here to try and take some of the stress off. So serious fire problems here, it's just everywhere. So I'm going to open another airlock to drain the air out of here. This guy's repairing the doors. I think what I'm going to do is send him over to... I'll get 2 guys repairing the engines, which are now actually at least partially operational, so I need someone on the helm to actually get us out of here. So I'm going to get a guy over to there quickly, through a little bit of fire, no biggie. It's going to take time for my FTL drive to charge, and there's another solar flare coming. So I'm just going to get on to repairs now. That one's done. Let's get the med bay repaired. Put out some more fires. It doesn't usually get this hectic, but it's getting 4 boarders on the ship at once and this many fires is proving so. The med bay's got no oxygen, and these guys are really starting to fail in here. I think I'm going to risk it for another couple of moments now. He's definitely going to die unless I get him some oxygen, poor guy. So my oxygen is working, but it does take time to fill the oxygen back up in a room. So in the meantime they're choking to death in there, so we'll just hide them back here. Right, the FTL's ready, let's get out of here, not get blown up so much. Yes, praise the sun, lest it destroy thee. So, these guys are trying to get away, which would be really nice at the moment. Yeah, fine, flee, that suits me. So now I've got to deal with the fact that my crew are mostly dead. I've got systems that need repairing, my weapons are broken, and this guy's got lots of weapons. Anywho, let's keep going. So I think I will get these guys manning their systems rather than on repairs, because if they're going to send them through here, they're just going to suffocate to death in there, so I'm just going to have to deal with a little bit of pain to start with. The Ion Blast's nearly ready to go, so I can actually start hurting him now. Let's go for his shields. The medbay... Oh dear, I think that guy has just died. The medbay's now got air in it, so I can go and fix it, if I could get there alive. And there's the second guy dead. Just to show you that if you think your medbay isn't a priority, you're wrong. So, most things are on fire, broken, faulty. I've got one guy flying the ship. However, I can still run away, which I might do. He's run away. So I need to get this O2 repaired. But is he going to suffocate to death in there? No, I can get the medbay's going to be working, so he'll be taking damage from lack of oxygen, but he'll be being healed at the same time, so I reckon that's going to be okay. So a little system repair drone will keep doing his thing. I've just got a beeping noise because he's about to die, despite the medbay, so let's put him into the drone room, which it has got air in it. The O2's back on now at least. That's back up to full speed now, so I'll pump extra power in the O2 and it'll fill up the rooms much more quickly. The doors are red because the door system's destroyed, so I can't open and close any of those, which is great fun when you've got an airlock open. Having the doors blown up and an airlock open is a hilarious recipe for disaster. Right, we're gradually getting there, weapons are almost fixed. This drone will head back to the drone room once he's finished and he'll get a heal. Just work on the doors. O2 is okay now. So the question is, how long can I survive with a single crewman and his trusty, untalkative drone? And with 13 health and less than half hull. Well, you never know. So, unfortunately, when they jumped away, that increases the distance the rebels have travelled in this turn, and their area of the area that they're actually in now is inside where I need to go, so I'll have to fight one of their ships. I won't get anything for it, but I'll be able to get away for one turn, basically. And they always use it in someone very strong, so it's usually a ship above the level you're used to fighting. So basically, having one dude to do this with is going to be a whole lot of fun. So this guy's got 2 sets of shields, so I have to knock through both of them before I can actually damage his ship. Which is going to make... He's got a very big missile launcher as well. When that hits me, all sorts of things are going to go wrong. So he's teleported a bomb on to take out my weapons. So my trusty vacuum cleaner with a spanner is headed over there. Here comes another missile. And that's breached the hull over there. And set it on fire. Still don't have an ion weapon because the weapons are still down. Yeah, at least there is not a sun this time. There comes another... No. The problem with these guys is you can't give them their priorities, so he's quite happy fixing a... Okay, so he was quite happy fixing a hole in the hull when there's no oxygen, and now the drone room's not only been breached, but broken to bits. So, thankfully, my FTL drive is almost charged, so I can flee and might just have enough time to fix the O2 before my poor guy suffocates to death. Flee! Okay, the NGs are peaceful, the Mantis are very bad, and the homeworlds are even worse, so I think I'm going to take it easy for a bit, because, you know, with 2 health, I'm going to die very soon otherwise. Right, so O2 is my priority, because we all like breathing air. This is where having extra crewmen that all they do is repair is really handy. Especially when you let them suffocate after death and then send them through the fire. Right, now we've got some air. So this room will have oxygen drained out of it because of this hole in the hull. So I'll open a few doors to pump up the oxygen. He should be okay though, just with this healing he's getting. Yep, so he's fixed the hole in the hull. That'll start to refill with oxygen. He's fixing the drone system now, which took a serious beating. And I've still only got a level 1 shield. I really need to get a level 2 shield now I'm this far ahead, otherwise more pain's going to happen. They're expensive though, and I've got no money. Sometimes it's quite nice knowing that you're definitely going to die soon, but trying to stretch it out as long as you can. I had one of the other ships, a stealth ship, and I had one guy, almost everything was on fire. Most of the systems were completely out. I managed to get everything fixed without him dying, and actually got quite far. I think a sun managed to kill me on that one as well. Right, now the drone's back on, we can turn on our little friend. Help with the repairs. You work on the O2, I'll go fix the sensors. As this guy does lots of repairs, he gets more experience in repairing, which he's going to need. Unfortunately the drone doesn't though. Right, so that's sorted. He's going to go back home. Once my pilot's on his seat again, we can jump. Go to a store, see if we can get at least one of the massive holes in this ship repaired. Now, could sell my system repair drone, but I'd get a pittance, and he's really helpful at the moment, so despite the fact I'm desperate for money, I'm going to keep him on my crew. Oh gee, there's folk in trouble. Let's go and help them out. Giant alien spiders. Now sometimes you can lose crew by sending them down there, so I'm going to leave the giant alien spiders to it. The interesting thing about this game is you can be doing really well and you can have a really well outfitted ship and a strong crew, and then suddenly in 2 turns you are dead. And yet sometimes you can limp along like this, or even worse than this, and you just last for ages and you kill loads of guys and you think to yourself, how have I managed this? My cool ship with the massive bombs and the huge shields died in 2 turns last time. Right, I don't actually have anything that fires missiles, so I'm going to sell those for some scrap. And I might buy an upgrade for the shields. Now I can't, that won't actually give me an extra shield bubble because you need 2 per shield bubble, but what it'll mean is I can take a hit to the shields without them actually going down, which is very valuable. This isn't going to last long though because I'm down to 1 fuel now. Ooh, and managed to get hit by an asteroid field. Down to 3 hit points of hull. Oh, another store, that'll keep me going for a little while. Now I need fuel and repairs. So we've got some extra weapons here. Hull beams. The beam weapons, you've probably seen them tearing my ship apart, are rather cool. That one is actually a pretty powerful beam as well.